If you're like most people growing up, when big feelings that we're confronted by, from challenges, from traumas, from wounds that show up, we're not really taught how to process them properly, how to feel them fully, how to move those feelings through our body. Oftentimes, we are discouraged from expressing them. We're silenced. Don't cry. Smile. Come give me a hug. The way that we were taught to deal with our emotions were oftentimes taught by parents that had no clue what to do with their emotions. So it's of no surprise that when we grow up and we're confronted with challenges, we're confronted with obstacles, we're confronted with tragedies and wounds, that we, in order to survive, in order to move forward, in order to actually kind of keep the hamster wheel going, we actually learn to stuff away our emotions. Because quite frankly, it's safer not to feel them.
22, no dad. I am a dad, and that's the same day that they sent me my student loan bills. So instantly had a $200,000 little bill come in the mail, and still had 2 years of school to go finish. So had all this going on, and I instantly put all of my emotions in the box, and put that box in a box, and put that box in another box, and then wrapped it up in saran wrap, put that box in another box, and then hid it away for forever so I could just be strong and just get shit done.
While that might work in the short term to get you by, there comes a time where facade has to fall apart, usually in the other side of some sort of a transition, what I like to call transitional anxiety. Those previous chinks in the armor that we haven't really fully healed start to unravel and cause health issues, anxiety problems, relationship anxiety, guilt, shame, separation, a whole cluster of misery, leaving you wondering who you are, wondering what's real, wondering who's the real me. I have been living with a mask all my life. I've been pleasing others all my life that I don't even know who I am anymore. And the overview experience is a journey into discovering who that actually is, discovering who was that person who had to put on a mask in order to get their needs met. We actually go in and introduce you and reconnect you with those younger parts. It's quite a magical experience when you see somebody reconnect authentically with their younger parts and literally reparent the inner child, the wounded inner child, when they had no access to feeling seen, heard, and understood before that moment. That's the feeling you've been avoiding, and now you're holding yourself in it.
You know, want to let you know I see you. I can see how you feel so confused, and you feel you're not worthy or deserving of being put in the best set.
All of your feelings are valid.
I won the season for sailing. I received those trophies and I knew inside of me I'm not the best. And I was like, I don't deserve these trophies. I'm a fraud.
Within everything that was in your own capacity of control, did you just do your best?
Yeah, I did. I showed up more than anyone else.
Say that again.
I showed up more than...
Just go to that little girl as she's sitting there, frantically overwhelmed, not sufficient, all of that, and look into her eyes.
I know how sad you are, but you are so beautiful. You don't even know it. You can't even see how beautiful you are. I know you're feeling confused. I know you're feeling sad. I know you feel like you're stuck. It makes total sense.
The method is an integration of everything I've learned from John DeMartini and Byron Katie and Joe Dispenza, mixed in and blended in with inner child work and breath work. And it's pretty much the most comprehensive top-down cognitive plus bottom-up somatic-based approach to integrating these wounds to heal your attachment traumas so that you can emerge a more connected individual who knows who they are, connected with their younger parts, and now has a access point to understanding what your inner voice is trying to say and be guided from within rather than externally. If you've ever been wondering, who am I? Why are my relationships falling into the same patterns? Why am I dating the same person? Why am I having the same arguments? Why am I having this experience of constantly feeling victimized by the circumstances of my life? Chances are there's an unresolved wound that is waiting for you to be the hero and find out the tools, the strategies of becoming the savior, the rescuer, the helper that you've been looking outside for all along, cultivating the courage, the vulnerability, the self-worth, the confidence, the mojo that you lost to be able to give that back to you. The overview experience is the methodology that helps you access the inner guidance you lost because of a younger self that didn't feel seen and heard for who they were and had to put on a mask to get outside approval and to get their needs met. Healing your attachment wounds begins here.
Eight years ago, I lost my first son to a neurometabolic condition of unknown origin. And then I had Qasim. He was born in 2015, and then he passed away in early 2016. And again, it's the same similar neurometabolic condition of unknown origin. So to date, I still don't know what's caused them to pass on. So after that, as I suppose you can imagine, they went into a very dark place. And so I did a lot of cognitive work. So mentally, I felt fine, so I could have this conversation with people. But emotionally, it was still there. So I'd still boxed up my emotions. I put them in a box. I didn't want to feel the pain. And I did the somatic work with him. And then I realized, because even though all this time I still hadn't grieved properly. On my first discovery call with Nima, I was very angry with God, and I expressed that. I honestly didn't know who was speaking. This rage, this raw grief, the pain. I could barely hear myself, if that makes sense. Like, it was very painful. I remember feeling like 5 kgs lighter after that. It was just kind of like a shift had occurred, and I had much more clarity. I felt much more at peace with myself. And even though now that when I talk about my children, there's parts that you still miss of them, of course, and but I'm much more at peace with that I've actually done a lot more healing as a result.
When you connect with somebody's work that's not doing it to get recognition, but they're literally just going into it from their heart, it's rare. So the first time I even heard him introduce himself, I instantly went to go find his work and then listen to his podcast 7 or 8 more times. And it was beautiful.
So she says, that I have never ever met someone who does so much work on herself like you do, Laura. And I was like, I didn't expect it. And then she says, I don't know what you're doing. You talk about this coaching you're doing, but I have noticed such a difference in you.
We had a house, we had kids, we had a business. Now we're going to have a marriage.
This is amazing.
Amazing. It's amazing for both of us.